mother tongue is isiZulu. We say sanbonani, that's a greeting, and it means we see you, which also means we see the spirit in you. We see the stories you walk with, and we see all of those that you choose to walk with here. So I see you, sanbonan. I'd like to begin with the piece that actually got me here today and that connected Azad and myself, and I appreciate it very much. Dikyale na samanzini, O Tannenbaum, wie treu sind deine Blätter, Dikyale na samanzini, O Tannenbaum, wo sind deine Wurzeln? Bayangibuza ukuthi inkaba yami yembelwe phi, aber was, wenn es nicht begraben ist? They ask me where my umbilical cord is buried. When I was told stories about how the roots met their land, I remember also wanting to listen to the song of the rain. There was this familiar voice there, this familiar rhythm I could swear I once knew. Sometimes I was sure that my pulse was in time. In my mother's house, the only way to keep breathing was to sing. Alingoma sithandwa sami. In my father's house, we danced inside a glass of water alongside bright-colored pigments and floating paintbrush hairs. Spiel doch einfach, mein Schätzchen. But sometimes the person I am painting for is simply too far. You can try as hard as you like, but you cannot fold yourself into a paper plane even when somebody needs you to. To press in the creases, smooth the surfaces, and bend your corners at exactly the right angles, but hurl yourself across the ocean and you will land in it. You will fall inside and disintegrate. All the words written across your pages. The I miss you on your arm, the hang in there on your calf, even the wait for me at the door of your ribcage and the landing in the pit of your heart. All of it slowly bleeds off and across your pages the longer it stays in the water. Alongside bright-colored pigments and floating paintbrush hairs, spiel doch einfach, mein Schätzchen, Galingom. Oh Tannenbaum, wo sind deine Wurzeln? My Uroma opens the door. She gathers me and all the words she has managed to find along the shore. I breathe in her scent and store it somewhere safely next to Mama's honey voice. Somewhere inside of me, I carry them. Opa pulls out a notebook and we long divide and multiply our joy into bits and pieces that I will tell Umkhulu about when he visits in my dreams. Oma has on her lap photo albums and we all touch these faded pictures, their stories relived on old women's tongues, alive. Can you taste it when it slips off your tongue? Gogo lives here too, on the tongues of my cousins who learned to sew from her long before I was even a drop in the sky. Nanzo, can you hear it? A home where we fly. When water lives in the sky alive. Can you hear it? There is Nikolaus who fills my shoes with gifts through Papa's secret hands and a Christmas tree with snow falling outside. Oh, Tannenbaum, oh, Tannenbaum, Dikyale, wo sind deine Wurzeln? Aber was, wenn sie nicht begraben ist? Dikyale na semanzini, Dikyale na lapa, und auch hier, and plant me in this corner of the world, and there, da sind meine Wurzeln. They're on every corner of this world. Where my umbilical cord landed in the ocean, lives there alive. Can you hear it? Never letting go of either of my shores. When I was water, and I knew that we are always home. Thank you. Thank you. That is a amalgamation of my families. German, Zulu, Xhosa, Zulu were the other languages you heard there. This one is a newer one, and it's basically a rambling of when you feel the big feelings because the big things are happening in the world, and it's all a lot, but you also feel the big things because the little things are happening in your life, and you don't know how to make sense of both of them existing so strongly in one body. Ways I asked my soul to stay in my body this week. I slept far longer than I usually do. I let my mind rest. Then I woke up in a panic, chasing the hours of daylight left along the footpath in the park with my face stinging from the winter's air. I ran myself a warm bath, all the while trying to forgive myself for the bill I can already hear being pushed through my letterbox. I played the music loud, turned the lights off, lit the candles, and held my own body to the tunes I've long imagined ocean deep romance to, someone who in the dead of the night can testify that I am really here, and that this is not a nightmare, and that they feel the world burning in their veins too. I sang the fear away, waking up the neighbors I barely know. The same ones who wouldn't find me for weeks if life chose not to stay. But for now it does. So, to toast it, I bought us a bottle of whiskey that was on its way to disappearing faster than the hours I worked to buy it. I melted down into my yoga mat and tried to stretch out the points between my bones that ache with all the dreaming I'm too scared to do, waiting for our freedom to crack. Release. I slept with a silent mind screaming. Meditation audio to fill the quiet noise. I woke up in frenzied conversation, trying to convince myself that my body has known peace before, that just yesterday I was breathing fine, though my lungs would argue otherwise now. Windows foggy from hyperventilations. Behind it, the outside world hides. I ran from the cozy indoors, swaddling my ghosts and I tightly together, not even sure if I could, yet once again chasing the light, but it was already night. So I followed the music, ignoring the heating I'll forfeit soon. Guilty relief that at least I'll still have a home to return to. I ran around town, buying tickets to all the shows where drummers could shake my soul, bleeding voices could stain it visible, and bassists could pluck it raw, make it anything but numb, remind the soul to stay in my body, at least until the next report that makes me forgive it for fleeing its home. Then, thank you. The next two are something I don't usually do. I don't usually write about the hard things because other people do it better, but it's happened in this past year, like a lot of things that I didn't expect. So you're the lucky audience that is subjected to that now. A dedication. And how you changed me. Moved all the unbending parts of me. Carved out the tenderness already in me, weaved uncut between my jagged edges, allowed a place for peace to feel at home in me. Bloomed my soul through all the seasons, made the sun shine through a hailstorm, turned shadows into our gentle keepers. Starburst my heart, set it on fire, even brought the water in case the flames enveloped us, and through me a river would begin to flow, weaving its way right back to you. Yet somehow I never wrote you a poem. I never sang you a love song. A play about you never came to me in all the world of love we created. My poems were buried in my prayers for you. My songs held together the hopes I had for us. The plays we co-wrote in dreams every day. We wrote, we wrote, we wrote until our curtain call arrived. Now all that's left for me to do is drink from these waters still flowing and leave this little dedication at the riverside for you. I felt the breeze whispering past me, its icy lips brushing against my bare back when I realized the house had let you in, without warning me to dress up for the occasion. No invitations had been sent out, hinges were still being oiled, broken door frames were still being mended. I, still on my knees, sweeping up the debris of aged footprints, trailing out the same door you came in. You had gone so far already by the time I felt you inside here. I had long passed my kitchen. Unwashed pots of the last feast for two that was held here, and spilled wine sticky on the floor beneath the broken glasses. I didn't see you continuing to walk through the cobwebs that I hadn't yet gotten to, that once kept me warm when these cracked windows couldn't hold warmth from porous memories any longer. Trying to call after you, I inhaled a waft of your scent intermingled with what is left of their cologne still lingering. And my voice stuck on a splinter as I turned the corner, evidence of past dances not yet sanded down. Running after you, ashamed that nothing was ready for your arrival, of how I didn't see you coming. And yet when I finally reached you, heat radiating from the end of this hallway, I found you seated, piano playing, beside my hearth that had so long been husked out, now being set alight, with all the bits of broken wood you found along the way, that I might have thrown out in preparation for you, had you not entered so suddenly, leaving the door to hope ajar. Thank you. And the last one, again in English with some Zulu and Xhosa interspersed, I guess about becoming worthy ancestors and migration. We have footprints that have walked long paths to get here. They have come from achy feet with long tales to tell. They trace the rhythms of the spoils of war that still course through our veins. These footprints, they carry other people's denial on their backs. They have been asked where they are really from and when they are returning home. These footprints have traveled far to get here, became one with the water to get here, evaporated into clouds to get here, and have rained back down on us when we forgot them, when we remembered them, when we called to them, when we trembled. They sang in thunderous voices. They insist on watering the soils we plant our dreams in. They know we were always meant to be travelers. These lands welcome us all, even when some claim divine right to it. Forget the rights of others where they have traveled. Now question the plots we have chosen to bear this fruit in. This earth will bear it still. She knows us and all the footprints we dream with. These footprints refuse to disappear, refuse to remain silent. They break the skies open, erupt the ground. They beg us to live out loud, even here, even now. They have not spent centuries becoming worthy ancestors, manifesting magic into our marrow, for our bones to become a cozy home for someone else's trampling feet. These footprints will walk through our dreams if we refuse to listen in the waking hours. They will knock on the door of our sanity and turn this house upside down until we pry open those rusty locks that have spent so long lost at sea. They're not angry at us, these footprints. They need us to breathe. These footprints have come too far for us to forget. that they live only when we sing their lives out loud. When we show up, when summoned, sithi Sabela niabizwa, Sabela niabizwa. Kneel in reverence at their souls, set alight the nights of dying hopes, watch the smoke rise into the shape of their being. Sithi qamaku nina mathongo amahle, khanyisani uma sehambe ebumnyameni. These footprints burst into the dark, breathe light back into us, stretch us wider, saying there is more to this coursing blood than fire and ash. There are rivers and forests and spirits that need us not to forget them. Amongst all the pain, there is joy as bright as the sun. There is home in all these lands. They are not ours. We belong to them. These footprints will not let us walk alone. They will not let us sit still and be quiet. They will sing for us even when our voices shake. A cacophony of visions far beyond what the eye can see, telling our stories in perfect harmony. These footprints have come too far for us not to be the landscapes of loud futures now. Thank you.